Hello and welcome to WCBN's Super Saturday. We got 4 broadcasts for you, but first and foremost, we're getting the biggest one out of the way to begin with. Your live over at the Ann Arbor airwaves, 88.3 FM Ann Arbor broadcast. I'm Daniel Thompson, joined alongside by Charlie Brigham for some water polo here, scheduled for 9:15 a.m.
Yeah, it's going to be a good one. Early in the morning, we're just ready to get up and get going on a Saturday.
Yep, and special thanks to Charlie Goodwin as well, who is in studio. Will be getting us on the airwaves at 9 a.m. here Eastern Time in Ann Arbor. We will introduce everyone once we are on the waves here in Ann Arbor. We're going to guess that's where most of our listenership will come from for this broadcast. Not sure how many people are going to get up at 9 a.m. for this YouTube call, but we are happy to have all those who are tuned in. And this is a Michigan team that's ranked number 7 in the country. So there are some high hopes for this team. Of course, water polo in the United States is dominated by California. So this is one of the few weekends of the year where things are really stacked in Michigan's favor, being the home team today. And we've got a decent-sized crowd, don't we?
Yeah, we do. Honestly, more people than I expected to be at a water polo match on a Saturday morning, like you said. It is early, but people just ready to get up and watch some good sports going on.
Yep, I recall 2 years ago, last time we broadcasted this Michigan Invitational, we had a really great crowd for the afternoon game against UCLA that featured many players from the 2016 Olympics on that UCLA team. But of the people in attendance, was even Ward Manuel. We also had the Michigan Stormtrooper. So Ann Arbor, they will support any team of theirs here for the University of Michigan when the time is right. Now today, as I mentioned, is a quadruple header of Michigan events, so there might be a little bit less enthusiasm today, given that we've got basketball and hockey playing home games tonight.
Shout out to the Michigan Stormtrooper, though. I don't think he gets enough recognition outside of just the students of the University of Michigan.
I believe I've read that he attends some 120 or so Michigan sports events every single year, that's once every 3 days. I don't know how he finds the time for that.
That's crazy.
I don't know how. I mean, I know a lot.
Dedication, right
yeah.
there. Dedication to his craft.
Do we know when that started? It's just been here my whole time since I got to
idea.
campus.
You think Google will be able to fact check that for me?
I know he has an Instagram account. I don't know if you. I'd imagine he's been doing this longer than it's been fashionable for everyone to have an Instagram, but it's been quite some time. He is a staple. I see a lot of people who are no longer students here. That's one of the things they always post about on social media when they do come back to Michigan games. They got to get a picture with the Michigan Trooper.
Let's see. Spring of '99.
Spring of '99. Wow. That is when I was 1 year old. That's, I think, before you were born, I'd imagine.
Yeah, born in 2001, baby.
Yeah, so, I mean, that's half of Michigan students weren't even born yet when the Michigan Trooper got started. So
that's crazy. Shout out to that guy, going strong still.
Yeah, that is shocking.
Super nice guy, too.
I've never actually interacted with him. Have you met him before?
Yeah. After the one men's basketball game. It was the whatever it was, the Oregon game.
Okay, yeah.
But we don't need to talk about that.
No, but so he talks with the helmet on. I don't know how clear that sounds coming from him.
Yeah, well, I met him after the game. He was just at his car, just chilling. So unless somebody else just has a stash of Stormtrooper armor in the back of their car, that was him. But shout out to that guy.
Yep. If you're tuning in through YouTube, which is the only way you're hearing us right now, we are still waiting for the switch on to the airwaves, so we're not going to be on 88.3 FM Ann Arbor just yet, but we should have that up and running with some time to spare before the game starts. But as I mentioned, Michigan is 2-2 on the year, which doesn't sound like a great record per se, but I mean, basically each and every weekend in college water polo, you are playing against other top teams at some invitational, usually in California.
Yeah.
And you're always going to be facing great teams. Right now, Michigan, they've got another game with UCLA slated later today. That will be a tough one. But so to recap their season so far, their most recent game was against UCSB, who they defeated 9-7. 1 week or 6 days ago on Sunday. That team is playing Indiana right in front of us right now. Now, you're probably wondering maybe if you're new to college water polo what the Big Ten picture looks like. And well, there isn't one because there is no Big Ten in women's college water polo. There's no Big Ten at all in men's. I don't believe any Big Ten schools play men's water polo, but the Collegiate Water Polo Association, home to the 2 Big Ten teams that play women's water polo, Michigan and Indiana. Indiana tied right now with UCSB 9-9 in the final 4 minutes of the fourth quarter, right in front of us. We've got, I believe, 6 teams in attendance for this tournament. Wagner is Michigan's first opponent, which you'll be hearing in 10 minutes from us, followed by UCLA, number 5 in the country at 6:15. That one will also be on WCBN later today. Then University of the Pacific at 9:15 a.m. tomorrow, number 11. And then they play this UCSB team right in front of us, number 9, at 1:45 p.m. tomorrow. So loaded weekend for college water polo. There's also women's basketball tomorrow, too, at noon. But if you decide you've had enough basketball for the year so far, you only get so many home water polo games, why not skip Chrysler and come here to Canham for water polo these next 2 days?
Yeah, like you said, we have a packed schedule all the way around. Basketball, hockey, water polo, anything really, you name it, we got it going on WCBN over these next couple days.
Absolutely. Basketball playing Illinois. They need to stop a 3-game losing skid they're on right now. Don't know if there's any indication if Isaiah Livers will play yet, but that seems to be the key for this team.
I think, what did he say? He posted a picture on Instagram yesterday.
Oh, he did? Okay.
That had the caption, it was like, "Yeah." So everybody was like, is this it? Is this him coming back?
Mixed message a bit from that, but
yeah.
Wonder, yeah, and we can only hope for the best. That's a sign that he is ready to go. Hockey, meanwhile, plays the National Development Under-18 team. I mean, yeah, so just showing me that picture right now, it looks to me like that means he's ready to go.
Yeah, the picture is basically sending out, like, it's go time. So
all right, that is big news.
Fingers crossed.
So, I mean, that definitely you want to tune into WCBN's call of that one because it looks like Michigan's fortunes are about to change here in the college basketball season, but you still got 3 hours to that one, so what better to do than tune in to college water polo here. We have a timeout in the pool between Indiana and UCSB. It's a good one, 9-9.
Yeah, 4 minutes and 10 seconds left to play here.
And they play these back-to-back-to-back.
Oh, yeah, they run it.
I'm guessing from how much time's left in this one, there'll be a slight delay to our originally intended 9:15 start, but I wouldn't expect to get started any later than 9:20. So, I mean, they really do these back-to-back-to-back-to-back. I remember 2 years ago here, they had the Chinese national team here as an exhibition opponent, I guess getting ready for international play. So they take this seriously here. People come from far and wide to play water polo here in Ann Arbor. And
yeah, which is crazy to me because I honestly never thought like water polo in Ann Arbor would be like that big. Like there's a decent sized crowd here this morning and it's 9 a.m.
Yeah, no, this is remarkable. The people who showed up here, I mean, you've got a good number of Indiana fans, at least a dozen, who I doubt they drove from Bloomington this morning, probably got a hotel and stayed the night.
Yeah, very true.
And I mean, I suppose, if you are from Bloomington and want to watch this team, you really have no other opportunities. There are 2 tournaments in Ann Arbor this year and then just a pair of games between Michigan and Indiana. During these tournaments, for CWPA play, Michigan and Indiana never play each other in these invitationals because it's, they're conference opponents. You're not going to play the conference opponents early in the season. As you probably just heard, Indiana scored and you heard their bench erupt here, and the Indiana fans in attendance applaud. But Michigan does set aside a couple times to play Indiana. They travel down to Bloomington on March 21st of this year. So if this really fuels your appetite for women's college water polo, you can maybe make the drive down to Bloomington for that in 2 months. And then this year we're actually blessed with the chance that there could be 11 Michigan games at home this year because of the CWPA championship tournament, which is in Ann Arbor this year, and that is one that Michigan does quite well at usually. They've won most of the recent CWPA tournaments, and they frequently get that auto bid to the NCAA tournament, which will be in Stockton, California, May 8th through 10th. So
being in California right now seems phenomenal.
oh, the weather's been kind of just really,
wet.
yeah. I mean, with the kind of hovering around 32, so the water doesn't decide if it wants to freeze or.
It's more so just that it's been raining and it hasn't frozen back over, so all the snow that's on the ground has just turned to slush.
Yeah, and you can't walk anywhere without getting your feet and your jeans wet.
Exactly. Like every step I take, it looks like I'm stepping in a pavement-flavored Slurpee. Like,
that's a horrible. That's a great way to describe it, but a horrible image.
Horrible image, yeah.
All right, I have just received word we are on WCBN 88.3 FM Ann Arbor. We'd like to thank again Charlie Goodwin for getting us going from the Student Activities building. Once again, I am Daniel Thompson, joined alongside Charlie Brigham, and we'd like to invite everyone who is just now listening on us through us over the airwaves to the first of a Super Saturday here for WCBN. We are going to be the only event on air right today at 9:15 a.m. Michigan will take on Wagner. It's going to be difficult to say as someone who's been calling Michigan basketball games for 4 years now. Of course, the Wagner brothers, Michigan basketball legends, but Wagner College from Staten Island has traveled out to Ann Arbor. I'm Daniel Thompson alongside Charlie Brigham, excited to give you that game, and then we invite you to tune in to WCBN's broadcast of men's basketball at noon, followed by more women's water polo at 6:15 against UCLA. And then we've even got a nightly serving of hockey for you as the Michigan hockey team takes on the under-18 national team in an exhibition match. The under-18 team is, of course, based in Plymouth, Michigan, so a short drive. They always play Michigan once a year at some point to get a good event for our future Olympians. They used to be based in Ann Arbor. I know our own Alex Dre and his family seriously considered being the host family for one of the under-18 players for a year. I think that's a pretty sweet gig.
That is a sweet gig.
Good way to make a powerful connection, you would think. Someone who will probably be a big-name NHL player in just a few years' time. But no longer headquartered in Ann Arbor, about an hour northeast in Plymouth, Michigan. Still great for exhibitions, so there is going to be a lot of sports here on WCBN. Plus, Sunday we've got more water polo action and women's basketball. Yep.
Got all sorts of stuff going on over the next 2 days.
And I believe women's basketball is also on air, so if you're tuning in through 88.3 FM Ann Arbor, you can tune into that on noon tomorrow. We will have that for you as well. And you can always go to our YouTube channel, youtube.com/WCBN Sports, and you can subscribe to never miss a broadcast from WCBN.
Or if you just want more WCBN content in general, WCBNsports.org for blog posts, that kind of stuff.
And twitter.com/WCBN Sports. We've got exclusive rights to that username on every platform, so not hard
Twitter
to find
and
us.
Instagram.
Oh yeah, we started our Instagram up again recently. There's going to be a lot of great ways to tune into a packed weekend of WCBN sports action. We've got just a minute to go now in this UCSB Indiana game. As I said earlier, probably not going to get off to a exact 9:15 start for Michigan and Wagner. This game it's 10-9 UCSB, so Indiana looking for the late equalizer. They do not go to OT in these games.
Yeah, just about 15 seconds left, 45 seconds left here in this first game before Michigan takes the pool. Excited for this one.
Extremely. I mean, so you got UCLA later tonight. That's going to be a tough one, I'll promise you that. But if Michigan can pull off that upset, that would be remarkable for the program. UCLA, one of the three perennial programs that basically wins. One of the three programs between them, Stanford, and USC who win the national championship every year.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. California is just so dominant in water polo, but I feel that's partially the reason that there aren't too many places that actually play water polo.
No,
in California being.
I mean, you can
the main
pull
one.
up this Michigan roster if you want to confirm that. Basically, the whole team is from California. Although we've got some more, we've got a bit more geographic diversity than that, including sophomore goalkeeper Sophie Jackson, who was from West Yorkshire, England. So people come in from all around the world in Ann Arbor to play water polo, but not Michigan. There are no Michiganders on this team. We've got Sophie Pontre, the junior from Perth, Western Australia.
14 players hailing from the state of California on this Michigan roster.
Yep, and it's been at least a full 3 seasons since there was last a Michigander on this roster. If you want to play water polo in the Midwest, there is not a whole lot of opportunities. Ohio is generally the place to be for water polo here in the Midwest. The lone Ohioan from the program 2 years ago has since moved on, but we've got a Pennsylvanian on the roster, not too bad for a bit of a local flavor. But yeah, this is a California-dominated sport. The Olympics 4 years ago, if you tune into that, you might remember that all but one player on the gold medal-winning U.S. women's national team was from California, with the starting goalkeeper being a Floridian. So very much a West Coast-dominated sport, and one that stereotypically is the Ivy League does pretty well in as well. It is the big California schools that dominate, but the Ivy League has a respectable presence in the college game as well. Stanford are the current reigning national champions. UCLA won it all back in 2017. They have 11 titles to their name, so just like basketball,
Yeah.
equally winning of programs, I guess you could brand it as, between UCLA's basketball and women's water polo teams. And another timeout here, so there's still 11 seconds to play in this one. It is 9:15 a.m. already, so I think it's safe to say we're not going to start exactly at 9:15.
Yeah, we're going to be a little bit behind, but that's okay. I don't think anybody's really too much in a rush.
No, I think it'll,
A Saturday morning at 9:15 a.m.
give anyone who missed their first alarm a chance to still catch the beginning of this one, so no one should be too dismayed about that. The UCLA women's team has 7 national titles, so 11 for the men, 7 for the women at USC. Stanford is the reigning national champions in both. UCLA on a bit of a drought. They have not won in now 10 full seasons, looking to capture a title this year. But right now the opponent ahead is Wagner. They have yet to play a game so far this season. They are ranked 21st in the standings, but this will be their first game of the year. Michigan played in the UCSB Winter Invitational, so I suppose they figured the trip from Staten Island to Santa Barbara was a bit too far for them, basically.
Yeah, Ann Arbor is much more manageable than going all the way out to Santa Barbara.
Yeah, that is going across the whole country for some water polo. Now, I imagine Wagner has some California games on their schedule, although I could be wrong.
If only for the sole purpose just to go to California.
Yeah, I mean, seems like that's a pretty easy thing to justify to me. They do play in the Aztec Invitational in San Diego, California, hosted by San Diego State. So that's their one big California tournament of the year, it looks like. And they play in the MAAC Water Polo Conference. Like any other NCAA sport, winning your conference is an auto bid. Otherwise, you basically have to play in the Big West Conference, which all the California teams compete in, to
tough.
have a shot to make it as an at-large.
That is tough. This game just wrapped up. UCSB claiming the win here, 10-9 over Indiana. And with that game wrapping up, we're just about ready to get started.
Yep, should be about 10 minutes here maybe before Michigan and Wagner take the pool.
What's the over-under on the number of times either of us say Wagner for this broadcast?
Ooh, I'm going to go 3.5.
3.5. 3.5. Yeah, that's manageable.
Yeah.
That's a good baseline.
Yeah, I'm hoping the name Wagner does get said a lot in Ann Arbor today. Hopefully a big game for Franz Wagner, the younger of the two Wagner brothers, for Michigan basketball in that game against Illinois at noon. But right now, Wagner is the opponent. I have to keep that straight. And frankly, I'm not super confident in my abilities to do that.
No, once you're in the heat of the moment, once things get going, it's going to be tough.
And I've just trained my brain so thoroughly now to say it the German way, Wagner.
And you're just going to be throwing out names left and right, trying to follow where the ball is going, and then
absolutely, yeah. No, when you're in the heat of it,
it's just Franz.
It's going to go to muscle memory for your mouth.
Yeah,
when,
exactly.
All right, Michigan's already taken the pool. They are making no haste here. Or is that perhaps Wagner?
That's Wagner.
They got the W's on there.
I almost said Wagner.
Well, we'll see. We've only said Wagner so far in reference to the Wagner brothers.
Yeah, exactly.
And the potential name confusion. So right now we're still perfect on the day for referencing Wagner College as Wagner. Will that keep up? I don't think so, but we'll try our hardest.
We apologize in advance. We're not doing it on purpose, or maybe we are. Who knows?
It's going to be hard to not slip off the tongue, but we now see Michigan taking the pool. It's only a couple of Wagner players in the pool right now. I would still estimate probably no earlier than a 9:27 a.m. start.
Real specific.
I said 10 minutes 2 minutes ago, so I'm sticking with it.
I guess. Do your thing then.
I'll if it does exactly start 9:27, I'll act like I really knew something about the logistics of this tournament, but.
And everybody who just tunes in is going to be just absolutely mind blown, and everybody who was listening is like, Daniel, you're a moron.
And yeah, they heard my confession. Well, I hope that works out for me right now. Still, just goalkeepers and a couple of attackers warming up in the pool. We've got a decent crowd so far. I know we discussed in quite great detail the Michigan Trooper. So far, he's not in attendance, but we've got, I would say, a solid 30 or so people in maize and blue already for this one.
Yeah, there is. Like we said for that last game, there's still more people filing in. There's a decent crowd out here today. His name's John Leopold, by the way. We keep just calling him the Michigan Trooper, but he does have a name.
I didn't know if he was. Yeah, I didn't know if he was deliberately anonymous or not. But okay, John Leopold.
So shout out John Leopold. I don't know. Maybe he's since tried to go anonymous, but this article from 2015.
MLive outed him.
MLive outed the Michigan Stormtrooper. That's tough. No, but John Leopold, shout out to you. You're a great guy.
We hope he's listening. If it's like Beetlejuice at all, then he certainly is tuned in by now.
He's just going to pop up behind us, up in the broadcast booth. We turn around, he's just right there.
We've said his name way more than 3 times now. Both John Leopold and Michigan Stormtrooper, so one way or another, if he has that power, he's due up here. All right, looks like we have swimmers, at least on Michigan's end, ready for the opening swim for the ball. Wagner now just taking the pool. We are at 9:21 a.m., so maybe we get this off just 8 minutes late. Just a quick refresher for anyone still wondering, there are 4 quarters to a water polo match, 8 minutes per quarter, 32 minutes in total. That's shorter than most American sports, but I promise you it could not go on much longer. One of the most physically demanding sports there are. Anyone who's ever swam competitively, you know how exhausting that can be. And, well, very few Olympic races go 32 full minutes, and you're not fighting with anyone for a ball.
Yeah, it's honestly really impressive. Like, watching them, they make it seem so effortless, but it is really impressive.
I mean, it is truly one of the most physically demanding sports out there. And it will be, 32 minutes is frankly, that is about as long as you would think any athlete can handle it. Substitutions are allowed during any dead ball, so the players do get rest, and no one plays the full game. But it really gets you going. All right, we are underway. It's a swim now for the ball in the middle of the pool, and Michigan has won it. Looks like it was sophomore Ava Morant from Maple Ridge, British Columbia, who won that ball for the Wolverines. So Michigan will start this game on offense. Deep lob into the attacking zone already. Michigan's shot is fired, no good. And Rankin's shot deflected by the Wagner keeper. Now Wagner quickly plays the ball up in transition.
Michigan coming out hot. They're just not wasting any time getting a shot on goal.
Yet Wagner attempts a pass down to the center. Errant, though, and is quickly taken away by Michigan, and the ball played back up quickly again in transition. Only 40 seconds off the clock now, and we have seen nearly 2 moves into the yellow zone. Michigan now playing it back and passing around the perimeter. Playing it forward now, and an exclusionary, nope, not just a common foul called on the interior against Wagner. Michigan works into the center now, and they have a chance to score 2 feet in front of the goal. Offensive foul on Michigan, and it'll be going the other way now as Caleb Barone received the ball about a meter in front of the Wagner goal, but ultimately got a bit too physical and had to turn the ball back over to Wagner. Wagner bringing it up now toward the front of the pool, and a lob goes harmlessly over the goal.
Daniel, we are in Ann Arbor, so please do not use the metric system.
Sorry, it's a game where everything is set up by meter marks, but I'll try to describe everything in feet as it is. And in that play forward, great pass, Emily Rittner with a great chance to put one in the back of the cage, ultimately rejected by Wagner's keeper. But I'll try to stick to customary units.
The ability to just come up out of the water like that and just catch and throw in one motion is really impressive. It's almost like a guy taking an oop in basketball.
It's so physically demanding to be able to elevate yourself out of the water. Catherine Campbell with the impressive rejection by Wagner, and now they move the ball around the perimeter. Taking their time, you get 40 seconds to the shot clock, so no need to rush, although it's a turnover down low, and Michigan takes over.
Good steal by Ann Rankin there. Just snagged that one out of the air.
Playing it forward now in transition, it is Michigan's Kathy Rogers, junior from New Forest, England, bringing the ball up the pool. And Rankin now plays it forward to teammate Ava Morant. And another offensive foul, so it'll be going back the other way. Timeout called for Wagner. No.
Just kidding. It's
okay. Yeah,
referee
miscommunication.
Messed up a little bit. It is still Michigan ball.
All right, so played back to Morant, and now up to Rittner. Rittner plays it toward the center. However, the ball is deflected. Ball thrown into double coverage, and ultimately didn't make its way ever into the hands of Michigan's Erin Newstrom.
Yeah, Newstrom tried to handle that one and just got surrounded, double teamed. Ball just got poked out. Couldn't handle that one.
So we're still scoreless in this one. 5:20 to go in the first quarter. Still, and another defensive foul called on Michigan. Nothing too serious. Now we got a breakaway chance for Wagner. That's a point-blank shot and a goal from a meter away. That is Wagner's Abby Simschauser, the freshman from Sydney, Australia. International affair in this one. California dominates, but this is the women's game globally, but this still is a global game. And the Australian puts Wagner up 1-0 in this one. Don't be too dismayed. Water polo is a pretty high-scoring sport all in all. Typically expect 8 to 12 points for both teams. So Michigan by no means in a considerable hole with that one.
It's kind of like lacrosse in that they just score pretty much nonstop.
Yeah, and 3 minutes into the game, you figure you probably want to be on the board by that point. So Michigan really just needs more of an offensive spark at this point. And they now get their chance for a point-blank goal. Skip the pass, through past the keeper and into the cage, and that's a goal for Michigan. 4:55 on the clock, and things are tied up. Michigan immediately answers.
Erin Newstrom with the goal there. Swam away right up the middle, got that pass inside, and just smoked that one by the goalie.
Yep, much like basketball, it's a game all about ball movement. Now there's no reward for longer shots, so that really makes it all about getting the ball down low as close to the keeper as you can before you shoot. And there's also a shot clock, too. I mean, it really encompasses many different popular games, the rules of many different popular games and strategies. As we have an offensive foul on Wagner, Michigan tries to take advantage by throwing a wet pass down the pool, ultimately a bit too long, though, and being taken away by Wagner's Savannah Henshaw, another Australian. So now Wagner retakes possession just seconds after committing an offensive foul. Another wet pass played forward, and a shot ricochets off the crossbar from Sofia Diaz-Alvarez from Madrid, Spain.
Sophie Jackson kind of got lucky there. She went up, tried to block that one. Really couldn't even get there, dove her way across the net, but luckily went off the crossbar.
Sophie Tavani from Michigan plays it down low to Erin Newstrom, who fires another point-blank shot and scores. That's 2 in less than a minute for her. 4:09 on the clock now. And Michigan is up 2-1, having their first lead here at home in Ann Arbor of the season.
It's a great feeling to be up early in any game. Newstrom dominating early down low.
Absolutely. Big start for her, 2 goals already. As we have our first substitution of the game for the Wolverines, Ava Morant coming out of the pool. Couldn't see right away who came in for her. Looks like it's 15, Skylar Pyle. Wagner now resumes play. Scored a minute ago, but has since surrendered 2 goals on 3 possessions. And Michigan lets the ball down low, and that is put away easily by
Wagner. Miscommunication there. Heard a whistle, and Michigan seemed like they just kind of stopped for a minute.
Yep, there was an exclusionary foul called against Michigan's Kathy Rogers, so she had to leave, basically go to the water polo version of the penalty box for the next 20 seconds, but immediately, before she could even get all the way back to the corner where players have to sit out after committing a more serious foul, Wagner immediately played the ball forward and scored right away, so that penalty lasted for less than a second, really. So Wagner ties things up 2-2, and before Michigan could really even figure out what they were going to be doing defensively, Wagner scored. We've got another foul called now.
Gonna have a longer whistle. Referee said something about the shot clock. Something's wrong.
If they're setting something up. Played the ball. The head ref made the players give the ball back to the ref on the opposite side of the pool, waiting to play this one in.
That's just brutal, honestly. Just making them tread water even longer than they have to.
So yeah, players wait to get the ball back in play, and now we're finally going again. 12 seconds on the shot clock, so Michigan is in trouble here. They got to move faster. 9, 8, 7. Ball still nowhere near the pool on the far sideline. Michigan plays it back toward the center back, and there's 4 seconds left. Michigan's going to have to fire a blind shot toward the goal, wisely chucking that ball into the corner. That's what you should do when you have no penetration late in the shot clock. Leave the ball in the corner, make the keeper go swim to get it. Why not exhaust the opposing keeper a bit and eat into their shot clock for when they take over possession?
No, exactly. Couldn't have said it better myself, Daniel.
So now Wagner gets it going towards Michigan's goal with just 22 seconds to go in the shot clock. Firing from far away, that's a great shot from how far it was. Ultimately hits the goal post, though, and Michigan escapes.
That's the second shot that's gone off that right post this game.
Yeah, it's been Michigan's
unlucky.
Yeah, Michigan's caught a couple breaks there already. A couple of Wagner shots just narrowly missing. So now Michigan back on offense, looking to make do with this possession. They get much more aggressive, playing it down low again to Erin Newstrom, but she is well covered into triple coverage, that pass was. And it's a quick turnover. Wagner now with the ball in transition, trying to go on a fast break. Yeah, phenomenal, like 20 meters pass, played up to the right wing. Wagner decides to take it slow, though. Couldn't quite get the fast break they wanted. And now an exclusionary penalty, Michigan and now Wagner will call timeout, set up their strategy with numbers. So far, they are on the power play. Wagner is 1 for 1. Converted their first goal following a Michigan exclusionary penalty less than a second into that shot clock. This time, they're going to take their time, though. Michigan's going to have to defend for 20 seconds down a swimmer. And we are going to get to see our first true really power play of the game. 2:09 to go, and this one all tied up at 2-2. We'll have Michigan's Ella Abbott in the penalty corner waiting a chance to get back in this one. So right now, we've got some pretty tight action for you. Early in this one, still plenty of time to break away. But I'd have to say things have been overall a pretty fair fight between the two teams.
Yeah, nobody's really came out and just both teams came out looking to score. Both teams came out gunning, and it showed 2-2 here with, what's that say, about 2 minutes left to play here in this first quarter.
Yep, 2:09 as Michigan will only have 5 swimmers out there plus the keeper. In defense, you're going to see Wagner toss the ball around the perimeter looking for an open lane to either snipe from a far distance away from or pass to the center down low for a quick shot. But this is, I mean, you typically see these exclusionary plays result in a goal probably roughly 40% of the time in water polo. Definitely the best scoring chances outside of the occasional penalty shot that you'll see, much like a soccer penalty shot, taking a few body lengths, going a few body lengths away from the goal and firing one-on-one versus the keeper. Those are converted at a much higher rate, but you see those maybe once every 2 games. This will be a good chance for the Wagner offense.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you haven't guessed it yet, Dana Thompson is WCBN's resident water polo expert.
Yeah, Ella Abbott was the offending Michigan player. She got subbed out for Maddie O'Reilly, the junior from Villanova, Pennsylvania. And now here we go. 15 more seconds for Michigan to defend. Ball being thrown around the perimeter. Not showing too big of a hurry yet. They still are just throwing in a formation around. And a great save from Michigan's keeper. Heidi Rittner with a phenomenal save, absorbing that ball with her chest and face. I mean, it could have been shot more toward the corner. It was a bit toward the keeper, but still great reflexes, great awareness to use her whole body to reject that one. And now Michigan goes in transition with the chance to take the lead. Minute 34, minute 33 to go in the first quarter. Michigan plays it out wide to the left wing. Wide angle look right here. 16 seconds still to go in the shot clock. Play it back toward the center back. 14-13, no need to hurry yet. And a very deep lob from Kayla Barone.
An eruption of cheers from the Michigan bench and the crowd. Looks like they're going to get a penalty shot.
Well, yeah, I spoke it into existence. Told you it wasn't common, but looks like Michigan has been awarded one. That was a penalty away from the ball. It looks like a Wagner player was trying to force Maddie O'Reilly under the water, so that's going to result in a penalty shot here. And she puts it away from about 8 feet away from the cage. Great shot, upper left corner. Hard for a goalie to get there. And Michigan takes a 3-2 lead. That penalty was well away from the action, so I couldn't see exactly what happened, but you'd assume for a penalty shot completely away from the ball, it would have to be a flagrant instance of trying to just lodge your opponent under the water and just play the game far too aggressively. But great shot right there. It's really hard for these keepers to extend out of the water. Even if you don't shoot it your hardest, if you can accurately place it in one of the far corners, it's very difficult for a goalie to get all the way up to that.
Yes, very true.
So now Wagner had an exclusionary penalty to their favor moments ago, but now they face a 3-2 deficit. Can't do anything there as they played into the center back, who was quickly double-teamed, and the ball is stolen by Maddie O'Reilly, who is now sprinting up the pool. 47 seconds to go in the quarter. They still will have the full shot clock. Plays it forward, unguarded to Michigan's Ava Morant, who is rejected. Great save there by the keeper, and now Wagner brings the ball up in transition.
And Morant almost got her. She got the goalie up in the air.
And Wagner fires right away. That ricochets off the crossbar and goes high up in the air, ultimately corralled by Wagner, but taken away by Michigan's Aunt Rankin, who plays the ball forward. There's still 18 seconds. You might want to slow down here and take the final shot of the quarter, but Michigan showing no haste and puts it into the net. That's another goal for Ava Morant, the sophomore from Maple Ridge, British Columbia, who...
You don't need to worry about the final shot when you can score when you want to.
Absolutely, absolutely. You don't, bird in the hand is worth 2 in the bush. Don't pass up the great shot that Michigan was able to develop. Some really nice passing there, able to do a 1-2 combination there between Morant and I believe Aaron Newstrom was the in there for the assist. Perfectly placing those balls, not making her teammate slow down whatsoever. So they're able to wind up and shoot immediately, get past the last line of Wagner defense. Now you got 12 seconds of defense to play. Ball starting at the middle of the pool. And Michigan's Isabel Rocco playing aggressive defense at the middle of the pool, refusing to let Wagner take an easy shot. Oh, and whoa!
That one.
Great looking shot with a second on the shot clock.
Lob towards the top left. Again, another Wagner shot off the side crossbar.
Yeah, off center from like 14 feet away, and that was That was that was a great shot. I mean, frankly, I have to say Wagner's had some really amazing precision shots that have just been a hair or two off and ultimately keep ricocheting off the crossbar.
Yeah, honestly.
If I had to grade teams by just the seemingly accuracy of their shots, I'd have to say Wagner comes out distinctively in that one.
Doing a crossbar challenge.
Yeah, but Michigan moving the ball much better, passing the ball near flawlessly, and ultimately that is the reason they have their 4-2 lead here through one quarter.
Yeah, they're going to get a 2-minute break here before the start of the second quarter. Get them out of the water a little bit so they don't have to swim the entire time. Tell you what, it's honestly so impressive. Like, you see people, like Olympic swimmers, that's obviously something crazy, just flying through the pool. But being able to just, control your body like that is crazy. Like, I can swim to, stay alive. And, if I just want to go to a friend's house and, jump in the pool, I'm chill with that. But, once you, put lanes or, you're do other stuff, I'm like, nah.
Absolutely.
No I'll take, a floaty.
Yeah, this summer I interned in a town just about 2 hours away from my hometown with my good friend of mine from high school who swam for my high school swim team. And we would pick up basketball at the gym a lot. But one day he convinced me to practice swimming with him at the gym. And, oh, boy, was that a lost cause. I mean, he was a pretty good high school swimmer, but not even, a D1 athlete or anything.
Yeah, that's a no from me.
Not a D3 athlete. And, wow, did he just put me to shame. I thought I was a pretty good swimmer going into that day, but never having swam competitively. I mean, yeah, once you have lanes there, it kind of takes all the joy in my mind out of swimming when you're just swimming back and forth across the pool. But, I mean, he loves it, and it's just so effortless for a guy who's trained so hard in it. But, wow. As a guy I have been trying to run miles, run at least a mile every day that summer, and swimming 100 meters just completely took the breath out of me. To do this a good player plays almost the entire game, so let's say 28 minutes in less than an hour. These games do take probably 55 minutes on average.
Yeah.
To spend 28 minutes swimming hard, treading water, trying to throw a ball as hard as you can, fighting off. I mean, this is a very physical game. Can't really commentate it because it's happening with 6 different pairs of people throughout the whole time in the pool at any moment while the ball's moving around. But, I mean, these players are getting very physical, very handsy with each other. The exhaustion it creates. I mean, 2 minutes is a really short break, frankly.
Yeah.
It should probably be longer to increase the quality of play.
You get more in basketball.
I mean, absolutely, it is. And you get more substitutions in basketball, more opportunities to substitute in basketball as well. It is one of the most physically demanding sports there is out there. But right now, Michigan up with a 4-2 lead, and probably good to have a lead in a sport that's as draining as this one. They're off to the races again, and Michigan comes out on top again. Ava Morant, just a sophomore, looks to be a very promising swimmer. That's how a lot of people get into water polo, just being quick swimmers. Maybe if you're not quick enough to be a Olympian swimmer, you might try your hand at water polo. Just being a great sprinter is enough to distinguish you. Michigan tries to play the ball down low to Maddie O'Reilly as she cuts diagonally toward the center, most valuable property of the pool, that little 1-foot radius circle right in front of the goal. Ultimately, that is surrounded by 3 defenders because it's so valuable, and a pretty good pass is still plucked out of the air. Ball played low for Wagner. Pretty good scoring opportunity, but tight defense from the Michigan defender. Sophie Pontre forces the ball back out. 12 to go on the shot clock. Ball still being worked around the perimeter, and they're going to have to fire one from far away. A bouncing pass takes a very dangerous-looking skip right up. I think that would have gone just under the crossbar if it weren't for another good save from Heidi Rittner. And now Michigan's going back the other way.
Who knows, though, with Wagner's luck, it seems like every shot they've taken has managed to find at least some piece of that goal post.
I mean, that was a desperation 15-footer, and that still had a chance. So Emily Rittner now with the ball to Maddie O'Reilly, back to Rittner up top. 10 seconds to go. Michigan's got no penetration so far into the Wagner defense. 8 seconds, 7. Nothing doing right now. 5. It's going to be a blind shot from Maddie O'Reilly. Oh, she lobs it over. Oh, lobs it over the keeper's head. I mean, that was beautifully done. That's a very low percentage shot. She puts that one away, though, for a 5-2 Michigan lead.
O'Reilly just dropped that one in there just over the goalkeeper's hand, right into the back of the net.
Almost like a perfect red zone pass, like dropping the ball into a bucket.
She do like a fade route.
It was remarkable, and that was with a hand in her face, nearly blind. I mean, once again, water polo incorporates what's great about so many sports.
It wasn't so much of a goal as it was a fade route towards the back of the end zone.
Yeah, with the hand in her face, blind, and unbelievable. She's a junior now, has had a lot of experience, knows exactly the dimensions of that goal, and can know exactly where to place that ball from anywhere in the pool. As another empty Wagner possession ends with an offensive foul. Michigan up 5-2 in this one. They're beginning to pull away as Wagner has had one. I mean, I want to call Wagner's only shot so far this quarter a desperation shot, but Michigan made one from just as far away.
No, it was not desperation. That was calculated, every bit of it.
Yeah, with 5 on the shot clock, Maddie O'Reilly might have had a few more seconds to try to drop something, but she called her shot and knew what was going to be good.
That shot on goal by Ava Morant looked kind of like a basketball chest pass as she was getting dragged onto the water, just kind of pushed it away from her.
Another offensive foul before that possession really got started for Wagner. So Michigan already back on offense, up 5-2, looking to expand on this lead. They've really dominated this quarter. Time of possession has to be wildly skewed. Sophie Tavani with the ball now, passes it back to Maddie O'Reilly.
O'Reilly's got the hot hand. Get her the ball.
Right, yeah, completely agree. 18 to go on the shot clock. Michigan going nowhere right now, just passing the ball back around about 20 feet behind the goal. Playing out wide to the wing, 10 seconds. Maddie O'Reilly with the ball now, 8-7, from about 20 feet away. Why not try it from here? Instead lobs into the corner. That's probably the smart thing to do, although given her most recent shot attempt, I mean.
I say take it, take the shot. But, smart play, I guess.
Yep, that will at least bite into the Wagner possession. 35 seconds to begin the possession. Gets burnt down to 30 by the time they can play it up toward mid-pool.
No, it definitely is the smart thing to do, just not the most exciting thing to do for those of us watching.
Wagner plays it down low where Michigan got a bit too aggressive. Just a common foul, no exclusion. And now I believe an exclusion has been called. Looks like Morant is headed toward the corner. So 6-on-5 advantage for Wagner. Their third of the game. They're 1 for 2 so far. Playing it around the perimeter.
Wagener is passing it back and forth, swinging it all around up top.
Yep, it's a second exclusionary penalty, 6-on-4 now, and that one goes off the bottom of the crossbar. Rebound is recovered by Wagner, so still 6-on-4, and finally Wagner puts it away. You knew. No, they would.
Wait, no goal? Referee's blowing his whistle. Wagner's going to retain possession, but no goal on that shot.
20 seconds pass, so Michigan's back toward near full strength, 6-on-5 now. Wagner misses their best chance of the day, down to 1 for 3 efficiency. Still playing around the perimeter, only a few seconds to go till the 6th Michigan swimmer is allowed back into the field of play. And now full strength Michigan.
What a save.
What a defensive possession by Michigan. They allowed no great lanes for shooting or passing. And wow, Michigan escapes with it. Look, Wagner thought they had a goal, but ultimately they played the ball back into play a bit too soon, which is why they caught Michigan off guard. I mean, what a defensive stand, down 6-4 for a solid 10 seconds there, and Michigan survives.
Deep pass over in the corner towards Skylar Pyle. Her pass gets reversed up top to Sophie Pontre.
6 seconds on the shot clock. Michigan doesn't have much of anywhere to go. Played in toward the center, and that one is put away. Wow, an amazing last-second attempt there by Aaron Newstrom. She was swimming backward, doing a backstroke, and the ball was placed perfectly to her hand. She quickly turns around and puts one into the left corner of the cage. And Michigan's up 6-2. I was just about to say.
Start tossing your hats into the pool. That's her third of the game.
Don't see anyone going for that yet, but you know what? I wouldn't hate that. Doesn't really have a tradition like in hockey, so that could get you ejected Navy, but you know what? Why not? You don't get to see your team play in person too much if you're a Michigan fan. That'd be an interesting strat. Or, throw a water polo cap into the pool. A bit easier to remove, maybe. But I was about to say, you rarely see teams score after being down 6-4 defensively and having to really exert all their effort to put up a good defensive stand. Michigan, though, uses the full shot clock, had to have been exhausted, and still scores. This has been a really impressive quarter for the Wolverines.
Yeah, they're fighting hard right now.
Who forced that was really not that force of a pass. This bad decision by Wagner, easily corralled by the goalie, Heidi Rittner. And Michigan gets their first exclusionary penalty of the day. They're up 6-5. Playing it around the perimeter. Ball to Maddie O'Reilly. Now to Sophie Tavani. Pump fakes. Passes to Skylar Pyle, who finds the upper corner. That's an upper 90 shot right there, a guided missile to just an undefensible part of the cage, and that one is in to build on Michigan's lead. 7-2 now. The Wolverines have taken over in the second quarter.
Somebody better check and make sure Michigan's arms are registered because they have loaded weapons attached to those shoulders.
I
Just
mean,
throwing absolute missiles towards the back of the net.
So far in this quarter, they're up 5-0 in this quarter, 3:19 to play. Right now they're on pace for a point a minute. And you rarely see that kind of offensive efficiency. I don't know what the record for goals in a women's college water polo game is, but I don't think it's above 20 at all. Right now, Michigan, a point a minute, that'd be on pace for 32. Of course, they didn't start the game this hot, but I mean, you've had 3 shots from well over 10 feet away that have just been perfectly on point. I mean, has Michigan missed a shot at all this quarter?
Not this quarter, no.
I cannot think of a single miss. There have been a couple empty possessions, but there was the one possession where Maddie O'Reilly just played the ball into the corner to deliberately waste the time of Wagner for their next possession, but that's it. Every time Michigan has attempted a shot, it has gone in. There was one penalty shot. Michigan gets their first exclusionary penalty, so 2 for 2 on penalty plays. So just all around incredible efficiency this quarter. 6 possessions, 5 goals, 5 shots, 5 goals. And Wagner has no answer. They've had a couple of good opportunities, 3 exclusionary fouls on Michigan in this quarter, and they haven't conceded a single goal. I mean, this has just been a dominant quarter. If they play like this, they absolutely can beat UCLA later today.
Well, I don't have individual goals for a team, but the most goals scored in a game was on November 8th, 2014. This was men's water polo, but combined 37 goals.
Wow. Okay. So Michigan, so far this quarter, on pace for 32 by themselves. When I saw you looking it up, I didn't have high hopes, but I'm impressed you actually got a high combined score in the history of college water polo. So
37 goals is ridiculous.
Yeah, and that means those teams are averaging a goal every 2 minutes. I mean, a goal a minute for this quarter has been remarkable. So Wagner trying to get back on the board as play resumes here. Wagner's Abby Simshower is able to swim past the defender and draw an exclusionary penalty. So their 4th opportunity of the quarter. All the Michigan defenders with hands up out of the pool, trying to create an impenetrable forest of hands. Plays it to the other end of the pool. Back and forth, they are lobbing it over the whole defense, looking for a route that got by the defenders, but not by the keeper. Heidi Rittner, great
bare to skip that one across the water.
Yeah, if you're a keeper, you always want to be able to try to stop the ball with your chest or even face the painful way. As Michigan plays it forward to Sydney Vernesh, who on the fast break puts it over the keeper with a lob, and that's another goal. Michigan scoring in about 5 seconds there, going from defending, being down and defending to a great barehanded save with the palm of your hand. You never really want to have to save a shot that way, but Heidi Rittner did it. Quickly flipped it up to a defender who immediately did basically a Hail Mary pass down the entire length of the pool, hitting Sydney Vernesh exactly in momentum.
And then Vernesh with the little floater finish, just got it right up and over the goalie.
This is about perfect water polo Michigan's been playing so far in the second quarter. Up 8-2 now, just dominating the quarter that they entered in a tie game. 2:13 to go. Wagner still just being stifled by some ferocious defense. And their center has hardly touched the ball at all this quarter. They finally break through a layer of defense, but that ball is stripped clean out of the hands.
Good help defense there by Rittner, coming in from the backside.
Absolutely. Was not her assignment, but came back and really just kind of blindsided the Wagner player, cleanly grabbing her arm and forcing the ball out for another turnover. In Michigan, 7 possessions, 6 goals. Now they're on possession number 8. And Wagner they're just trying to hang into this game, not get down any further. 8-2, Michigan leads. Play down toward the center. Good defense, but she's able to kind of strong arm her way into some separation. Penalty called on Wagner. It's an exclusionary foul, so Michigan has numbers again. Second chance of the day to go up with a 6-on-5 advantage. 30 seconds put back on the game clock, on the shot clock. Errant pass, though, is tipped away. Great defensive play by Wagner's Sky Nankervis, the freshman at Sydney, Australia.
Wagner's defense starting to show some life here as the second quarter is almost winding down. Just over a minute left to play.
Yep, forcing only their second empty possession of the quarter, but on an exclusionary foul, so they did not even have numbers there. And Wagner responds, getting back into this game with a great side netting shot. Very difficult one to save. That came from the left end of the goal and traveled quickly toward the right side netting as they sneak their first one by Heidi Rittner of the quarter.
Yeah, nothing Rittner can really do there. She's been playing phenomenal goal all quarter. That one just a little too far out of her reach.
So Michigan, they can live with that, up 8-3 so far.
Yeah, absolutely. If anything, just to give them a break. Like, yeah, you can score. We'll take the extra couple seconds.
They wouldn't hate a breather. They might be worried about their breath more than the game at this point. It's decisively in Michigan's hands. Of course, once you start thinking that way is how you let the opponent back into it as Michigan commits an offensive foul. So back-to-back empty possessions. Back-to-back turnovers as well for this team that is still has scored on 6 of 9 possessions of the quarter. 40 to go on the game clock, 25 on the shot clock, so Michigan will get another possession, barring a rebound, which you don't see too often. Offensive rebound to specify. Nothing going here, but they play back to the center, and an amazing blind shot. You don't see too many of those get converted, but a great no-look goal there from Jaquai Stjorgen, another Aussie on this team, the senior from Queensland, Australia, with 2 defenders on her, not looking toward the goal at all, just palming the ball with the back arm, able to flick it into the goal. That's a highly impressive bounce shot.
It's hard to defend what you can't see.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's one of the perks of that shot is that the keeper does not see it coming, at the very least. And that's why it's so important to know where you are in the pool, the distance from the goal. With enough practice, the goal doesn't change. You know from where you are what the exact dimensions you have to try to shoot that ball in. And if you're shooting blind, if at least you know where the goal is, you can at least have a prayer to get that on goal and maybe catch the keeper off guard.
Exactly. Michigan only up 4 now, up 8-4 with 9 seconds left to play here in this first half.
Yep, game clock should be an issue. Well, that won't even matter because Michigan commits an offensive foul. 6 seconds to go. 3 straight turnovers for Michigan to end the quarter.
2, 1, and that's going to do it for the first half of Michigan water polo here.
Yep, with a 3/4 pool shot from Wagner. That was pretty good given where it started from. It's going to go a bit wide of the net either way, but 8-4. Wagner showed some life there at the end and kept this a manageable game. It's going to be hard to overcome Michigan here as we now have the 5-minute halftime intermission, but so far so great for Michigan. Well on their way to a 1-0 start here at the Michigan Invitational.
Yeah, Michigan just came out that second quarter and just turned on the burners.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it was a ferocious start. 6 goals in the first 6 minutes, and they had some lapses at the end of the quarter, but otherwise just a domineering half of play by the Michigan Wolverines. First quarter was 2-2. You kind of saw some signs that Michigan was just a bit quicker in the water, a bit more gifted throwing the ball around, but I mean that second quarter Michigan just completely dominated. Won that one 6-2, and now they lead 8-4 at the half.
Yeah, that second quarter was among the best water polo I've seen.
Not sure how complete of a compliment that was from you, but you're just a reminder, we are in 2020 now. It's an Olympic year, so be sure to tune in to some water polo in Tokyo. Frankly, I don't get why water polo hasn't caught on more in the States. It's a very fast-paced game. A broadcasted game still only takes an hour to sit through. I mean, you could have water polo night in America. It would take like an hour 15 to get through pregame, full game, the full game itself, and postgame. As Michigan is up 8-4. There's a lot of scoring in water polo. I think it could do quite well with an American audience. I mean, it's on TV for the Olympics. If you have like the NBC Olympic channel, you can find like the European Championships on or the World Cup when that's on. But frankly, I think more Americans should tune into this game. We've got a good crowd of Michiganders here. We estimated 30 before the first sprint for the ball. Now I'd say maybe a good 40 Michigan fans are here in attendance.
Yeah, it's packed. And that's just Michigan fans. There's probably over 100 people here.
And just to recap, so a lot of the people in the stands right now are the athletes for the other teams. I think that's Marist right now up in the benches, all sitting together as a team.
It's Indiana?
Well, I think Indiana's more toward our left. I think that's Marist to the right. It's a bit dark river red. When you've gone to the Michigan Invitational before, you get used to maybe some of the teams you don't see too often.
On those names on the front of their shirts.
Just based off the shade of red, I think that's Marist.
If anybody over in the stands on the other side is for some reason listening to this broadcast, can you give me a fact check on what those shirts say over there?
If you're listening to the radio call of the game you're at, why not tweet at us, twitter.com/WCBN Sports, to get some literal color commentary here right now.
A little shameless self-promotion there.
As we've got a minute 45 till the second half. Michigan already matching and exceeding some of their score totals from earlier in the year. Only 4 official games in the books right now. They beat CSUN, which stands for Cal State University Northridge, I think. I'm pretty sure that's CSUN. Cal State University Northridge. They defeated number 22 CSUN. They defeated. Got it.
Look at you go, Daniel.
Been to California once in my life, but nailed it. All right.
WCBN's resident water polo expert.
I only knew that from looking at the roster across the year, looking at the Michigan schedule from across the years. So CSUN, they defeated 8-7. UC Irvine, they lost 9-14. Against Cal Berkeley, they lost 7-8. They've already scored 8 in this one, and they defeated UCSB 9-7. All playing 3 UC schools plus another Cal State school. Michigan versus the California Public Colleges, I guess, to start off the year. In the Big West Conference, which is what I know UC Irvine, UCSB, and CSUN all play in that for most sports, basketball included. The Big West Conference champion is usually good for like a 15 seed in the NCAA tournament, but in water polo, if you win the Big West, you are going to be the first overall seed in the NCAA tournament. They carries a lot more weight than perhaps winning the basketball, Big West.
Yeah, tell you what though, a loss by 1 goal, 8-7 to number 4 ranked Cal. I'll take that.
Yeah, that is truly an impressive remark. I mean, you've got Olympians on the Cal and USC and UCLA teams. So, I mean and that was in Santa Barbara. I mean, it's early right now. 6:15, maybe the advantage won't be there for Michigan, but.
And we're off.
Yep, sprinters underway. We saw a change in sprinter for Michigan. Ava Morant won her first 2 sprints of the day. Sophie Tavani, the freshman from Danville, California, got the opportunity to start the third quarter sprint. She is a bit too slow, though, and Wagner wins their first sprint of the day. Passing out wide, a good shooting lane. Ricochets off the crossbar, though, and hits Maddie O'Reilly square in the face. She'll take it, though, as she gets...
Wagner almost got lucky off the rebound off O'Reilly.
Yeah, it could have been an own goal with a bit of misfortune for the Wolverines. Ultimately, though, O'Reilly corrals the ball and plays a deep pass to the far left wing to teammate Morant.
Morant tried the spin move there. Help defense came over and took that one away from her, though.
Yep, so an empty possession for Michigan. That marks 4 straight, but they can afford those after they came out to an 8-2 lead. Presently lead 8-4 with 7 to go in the third quarter. Wagner they've been playing offense at a pretty slow pace, just passing the ball around the perimeter, not finding many lanes to bring the ball in, closer toward the goal. Gets it down low to the center with a hand in her face and lobs it over the cage harmlessly. Hard to score for Jaquise Organ with defense like that. Now, we did see her convert a blind shot earlier in the game, but that one was no good as Michigan plays it forward to the center. No one to beat beside the keeper. However, the keeper is able to make the save. Aaron Newstrom nearly got number 4 on the day, as she was just able to outswim her defender and get the edge on that ball, recover it, and shoot. Ultimately, though, saved by the keeper. And a deep shot goes for Wagner early in the shot clock, taking a shot from about 20 feet out. Sofia Diaz-Alvarez from Madrid, Spain, caught Heidi Rittner off guard. Well, so Michigan actually made a keeper substitution.
Yeah, getting their keeper a little bit of rest.
Yeah, it makes sense. It's a long day. Water polo got a second game to play.
And it is Indiana over there, Daniel, by the way.
Okay, all right. Well done. Yeah, I can read the Indiana on the shirts. Now they're watching the game and facing toward us.
They were facing the same way. I just don't know what you're talking
All right.
about.
So, yeah, you're doing
Daniel.
color commentary today, and I guess your color commentary was a lot more accurate than mine.
Exactly. Don't mess with me and my colors.
As Michigan commits an offensive foul. So I believe that is now Sophie Jackson into the game wearing the 1B cap, how keepers differentiate themselves. Don't look for 18 on the roster. There isn't one. It's 1B in goal right now. And she had a rough start as an errant pass from Wagner nearly went over the lanes and out of bounds, but ultimately crowd in the corner just wasting time on the shot clock. 10 seconds to go now for Wagner, as Sofia Diaz-Alvarez passes it up toward her center. Help defense gets there, though, but not before a foul is called. So 5 seconds for...
Wagner's going to need a last-second desperation shot here. Not even going to get one off.
Nothing doing there, so Michigan will take over. But a bit of a slow start at keeper for Sophie Jackson, letting in, frankly, probably the easiest goal of the day so far. She guessed left, shot went right, and a shot that was far away she really did not need to react so strongly to. Michigan has another quick and empty possession as Emily Rittner shoots one way over the crossbar.
Yes, they made outside.
Yeah, maybe more than just a bit. That one was high, but again, shots you can afford to take up 8-5, but Wagner just trying to
muscling her way down there towards the goal.
Single-handedly trying to muscle her way in toward the goal was Malia Josephson from Auckland, New Zealand. She was able to draw an exclusionary foul, though. Full 35 seconds back on the shot clock, and Kathy Rogers goes to the exclusionary zone. 6-on-5 advantage. So far, Wagner is just 1 for 5 on the day in converting these. Can they make it 2 for 6 at least and get back toward a respectable rate? Passing around the perimeter, and they end up firing one right down the middle. A passing lane opened, and once again, a bit of a softer goal let up
Wagner's
by
cut
Sophie
this
Jackson.
down to 2.
Yeah, this game has gotten a lot closer very quickly here, and Michigan is going to have to play with a bit more urgency. Timeout called by Michigan's head coach, Dr. Marcelo Leonardi. Might have to go back to the starting keeper in this one.
Yeah, Michigan seemed to just take their foot off the gas coming into the second half. You know, they had that comfortable 4-goal lead, but that just disappeared real quick. 2 goals looks a lot less comfortable than 4 does.
Absolutely, and that's what happens when your offense completely dissipates. Over 3 minutes into this quarter, Michigan still held scoreless in the second half, or about on a 5-minute scoring drought. That is never what you want to see, and that's how a 6-goal lead can fade away. Defense has not been quite as good. Goaltending has slipped just a bit so far in this one, and now we've got a game on our hands again, 8-6. It won't matter if Michigan's offense gets going again. We'll see what the team is going to do here out of the timeout. Sophie Jackson looks like she's going to return in at goalie, so Michigan's offense will need to pick up the slack here and keep things easier for her. So timeout. Guess getting things back started. Ball played back to the keeper as per usual as she tries to play it forward. Kathy Rogers with the ball, plays it out wide to Maddie O'Reilly. O'Reilly trying to get some separation, but the defender keeps driving her back. Eventually finds Kathy Rogers as a safe outlet pass. Pass is tipped, though, coming out of Rogers' hand, deflected, and picked up by Wagner's Jaquith Thorgan out of Queensland, Australia. And ball is played back to the goalie to restart the offense here. Chance to make it a 1-point game for Wagner. 4:11 to go in the third quarter. This game is all but over after Michigan was dominating up 8-2 with 3 to go in the second quarter.
Wagner looking way more confident here in the second half than they did in the first. Just coming out looking to score, being aggressive. As I say that, what a save.
As Sophie Jackson's teammates applaud her for her first save of the game. However, looks like a foul was called against Michigan. It will be an exclusionary foul. Wagner is presently 2 for 6 on the day. Timeout called. So maybe it was not an exclusionary foul, but maybe just a substitution. I believe it was, in fact, exclusionary foul against Ann Rankin. So Wagner with a great chance to cut this to a 1-point game. And in Michigan, it's been a tale of 2 quarters here. They dominated the second quarter, won it 6-2, +4 in that one, and now Wagner is up 2-0 in this quarter.
Yeah, Michigan just hasn't been able to find the back of the net.
Not
really
at all this
struggled.
half.
Their passing has looked a lot sloppier this half than it did in the first. And they just have, all first half they were just chucking lasers at the back of the net. And all of their shots have just seem to have as much on them, little lobs. Gonna need to step it up here if they want to keep this lead.
Yep, it seems like it might be a consequence of getting up to that 8-2 lead, playing a bit too loose, losing some focus. And I think I kind of did a commentator's jinx on them as well. I might have pronounced this game over a bit too soon.
Yeah, come on, Daniel.
when Wagner is currently very much in the thick of this one. 3:56 to go here following a Michigan timeout.
Daniel, we're going to have a talk about you jinxing things.
Yeah, I certainly thought this one was trending toward a Michigan blowout. Instead, it is very far from that as Wagner comes out of their timeout with the ball and with a 6-on-5 swimmer advantage here. Perfect opportunity to make this a 1-goal game. They're 2 for 6 on exclusionary fouls. Can maybe get their rate up to 3 for 7. See if they can get very much back into this one. Passing around the perimeter. 2 swimmers inside the teeth of Michigan's defense trying to receive a pass. Another exclusionary foul. That's 6 foul called.
Wagner ball movement all the way around the top,
yep.
Swinging it all the way around.
As they encroach further and further in on the goal, but that ball is tipped. Michigan only has 4 defenders back there, but they are still very much in this. Fire from near range. It skips by the goalie, and that's a goal for Wagner. We've got a 1-goal game now.
We saw Michigan have a great defensive possession in a very similar situation earlier in this game. That one they couldn't pull the same results. That's going to lead, like you said, to a Wagner goal. Michigan's 4-point lead's been cut down to just 1.
And we see Heidi Rittner re-enter the game as it got close, as it's become close again, going back to goalie 1. No A, no B on her cap, just the starter, number 1. So Michigan now playing offense with some stress for the first time, knowing if they don't score here, next time they have the ball, they might not have the lead. And nothing doing so far. Great defense up top. Exclusionary foul, though, committed down low away from the ball, and Michigan's got a 6-on-5 chance here. So a perfect opportunity to get the offense going for the first time in this half. Michigan playing back and forth, pump fakes around the perimeter. Kathy Rogers plays it back. Going across the defense now. Playing
Maddie
to wing
O'Reilly
to wing.
with the hot hand gets that one to fall.
Fires near corner, and the heat on that ball ricochets off the goalie's hands and into the side netting. Michigan up 9-7 now, and has created some breathing room again.
If any of you over there in the stands decided not to throw your hats in the first time we had a hat trick, now is your second chance. Maddie O'Reilly with her 3rd of the game.
Great job keeping track of that. We do not have a stat broadcast, unfortunately, for water polo.
It's all up here. It's all in the noggin.
Yep, all of our stats are. Should have brought a notepad with me, but all of our stats are completely being mentally kept track of right now. Wagner now with
nice save.
Yep. Tried to snipe one, did Sofia Diaz-Alvarez. That one was from a bit too far out, though, and Heidi Rittner had ample time to locate that ball and get a hand in its way. Michigan now playing offense with a multiple goal lead again, up 9-7. They'd like to put this one away again. They thought they had it entering the second half, but have since been outscored 3-1.
Lob pass inside, looking for the top shelf. Is Skylar Pyle. Hers goes off the crossbar, though.
Really great looking offense there, though, up until the shot. Skylar Pyle noticing a gaping region right in front of the goal, open water to swim into, and it receives a great pass from her teammate. Ultimately cannot connect on a pretty high percentage shot.
And Michigan seemed like they just realized that last possession, like, oh, shoot, it's a 1-point game.
Yep, and they've come back to life a bit here as Wagner passes around the perimeter. Good defense, 8 seconds to go on the shot clock. And a hand to the ball. That one is rejected. Skylar Pyle tipping that one out of bounds, but that will result. No, it's, I believe, an exclusionary foul called against her, so got a bit too aggressive there. As a reminder, you are listening to WCBN 88.3 FM Ann Arbor. As the play gets going again, following that exclusionary foul. Wagner is now up 2, 3 for 7 on the day. Can they go 4 for 8, get back to 50-50? That's how they've come back into this one. 2-point game, but great defense. The ball was deflected off of a dangerous-looking centering pass. Emily Rittner, though, had some good help defense there and came from behind, pokes the ball away, and in rolling it toward her keeper. Michigan still up 2, 9-7, a minute to go in the third, and they escape what looked like a dangerous opportunity for Wagner to make it a 1-point game again.
Maddie O'Reilly on the right-hand side. She's got the hot hand.
Yep, did not get the start today, but has played almost every minute since entering the game about halfway through the first quarter. I think she should be in the starting rotation against UCLA with the great game she's had here against Wagner. Timeout Michigan, so we're going to have some time for Michigan to start the offense. 53 seconds to go in the quarter, 35 on the shot clock. I think Michigan should try to use this possession to its fullest, but maybe, if you want to get strategic here, try to score quickly and ensure yourself one final possession. However, you have to go pretty quick. Otherwise, Wagner could basically do the same to you and leave you with only a few seconds. So,
yeah, like I said, you got a chance to score, you have to score.
Yeah, don't overthink it. Just set up the best pass you possibly can and try to make this 10-7 going into the fourth quarter in what has certainly been a disappointing third quarter for the Wolverines. Thought this game was out of reach, and they let Wagner right back into it. But credit Wagner, they did not give up at all, and it would have been easy to roll over down 8-2, and they fought right back into this one.
Yeah, the amount of just perseverance from Wagner in this game has been, great. At one point, where they're down, 4 or 5? And they came all the way back to make it a 1-point game. It's now a 2-point game, but still, it seems they've found their life again.
They absolutely have. So Michigan was hoping to maybe get some more depth players in for the second half and be very well rested going into UCLA. It might not happen now as it's still a 2-point game, but if they can build another big lead here, they might be able to rest starters for most of the fourth quarter in preparation for that UCLA matchup. UCLA has not played yet today, so Michigan will have an advantage when it comes to rest for that 6:15 matchup. You'd really like to play UCLA at 8 a.m. here in Ann Arbor, so it's like 5 a.m. for them. As Maddie O'Reilly gets things started coming out of the timeout. Ball played back up to her at the top. It's a 6-on-5 swimmer advantage for the Wolverines, and that ball is picked out of thin air. Coming out of nowhere did Sky Nankervis from Sydney, Australia for Wagner. And
Wagner now looking to push the tempo coming up that right side on the fast break.
Yeah, Michigan held to 1 goal for this whole quarter. It looks like is going to be the result. Could have gone up there with the exclusionary foul, but ultimately an empty possession. And we have got a close game here again. Chance to make it a 1-goal game going into the quarter. Alvarez plays it down low to her center. That's a bit too long, though.
Great help defense there.
Yep, as 2 defenders surround the wet pass and make it impossible for Sjorgen to get on the ball. A full court shot from Rittner. That one is on goal, but going to be pretty easily batted away by Wagner. Nonetheless,
I don't know. For a second there, it looked like Wagner's goalkeeper wasn't really paying attention. That looked kind of like a last-second dive.
I mean, she gave it a
there's
chance.
ball.
She gave it a chance. I've never seen a water polo goal before. Even probably rarer than a hockey goalie goal, just because of the fact that you don't really pull your goalie ever in water polo, except for maybe the very final possession. But good thought there from Heidi Rittner, having to be inserted back into this game as it got a whole lot closer in a hurry. Right now, though, Michigan nursing a 2-goal lead in what's going to be a close fourth quarter. 1 minute and 20 seconds until we have that fourth quarter for you. And it's gonna buckle up. This is gonna be a road to the finish. One minute till the second quarter gets under action. We saw Michigan lead. They had, I believe it's been Ava Morant as the sprinter, probably the fastest swimmer on this team. Open the first 2 quarters and win her sprints in each of the first 2 quarters. After that, though, Michigan switched to Sophie Tovani to start the third quarter because they had a 4-goal lead. I'd imagine we're going to go back to Ava Morant here to start the fourth quarter and try to win 1 extra possession for the Wolverines.
Yeah, I don't see why you wouldn't.
And correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe Wagner scored on that opening possession. So you can very much argue Michigan taking their foot off the brakes here, let Wagner come back into this game. And now Michigan will likely have to play their starters for the remainder of this game and not get any more precious rest to wrap up a competitive competitive game. You want to get as much rest possible going into the game against UCLA, but you have to win the game in front of you.
Yeah, I mean, rest is important, but like they play UCLA at 6:15. They're gonna have, 7 hours before that game. But like you said, water polo is so physically demanding. They want as much rest as they can.
Yep, and remember, you can tune into that one as well. At 6:15, it'll be myself and Zach Corson on the call as Michigan takes on a UCLA team, a program known for developing future Olympians. Now, we're not going to know for sure who those Olympians will be because still we are about 7 months away from the Winter Olympics as Maddie O'Reilly is the sprinter for Michigan. It's a tightly combated ball. Wagner comes up with it, though, as both sprinters got their hand on the ball, but it is Skye Nankervis who ends up winning it. 2 Australians, both swimming after that one. Very good display for Australia here today in this matchup.
Australia and California are really represented in this one today.
And probably there are some Olympians in this pool too, maybe not gold medalists, but probably some Australian national teamers swimming right now. I'm unfortunately not as familiar with their roster. And what a rejection.
Save.
Heidi Rittner coming out of the water and getting her hand between the ball and the back of the cage. As Heidi Rittner plays it up towards center pool now. Michigan up 9-7, only winning 2 of 4 sprints in this game after getting off to a perfect 2-0 start. Maddie O'Reilly being forced backward by tough defense, but it's a bit too tough. Foul called, and she has to back up and get a breather. 13-12, Michigan needs to play this in down low. They find Ava Morant, who's swimming before she meets a wall of Wagner defenders about 10 feet away from the cage. Ball played out very wide, 6 seconds, 5 seconds. It'll have to be a very wide angle shot, low percentage, and wisely that will be dumped into the corner by Ann Rankin. Just trying to eat up more clock here, 7 minutes to go in a 2-point game, Michigan leading. Wagner taking their time here. Not seeing any real gaps to try to push the ball through. So they're just simply passing around the perimeter. 14 seconds to go. 13, 12. And what a great backhanded interception by Sophie Pontre, another Australian from Perth. Able to get her body behind the intended target of that pass, but gets her hand around the intended receiver and picks that ball away with just an awkward backhanded motion. Very impressive right there. Offensive foul called against Michigan, though, and now Wagner has numbers as that ball was never going anywhere. Michigan committed the offensive foul. They had 3-on-1, but an errant pass slows down the attack. Still, though, there's a pretty clear path to the goal. Defenders collapsing. Ball played wide, and that is deflected. Abby May gets her hand in there and interrupts what could have been an easy goal for Wagner. Michigan still having to play defense, though. Ball down at the center, and that ball hits the upper corner of the crossbar. And
another Wagner shot off the crossbar.
Michigan escapes that one by the skin of their teeth, as Dr. Marcelo Leonardi calls another timeout here, as Michigan is going to bring in 2 new swimmers. Looks like that will be Skylar Pyle and I believe Kathy Rogers entering the game. Head coach Leonardi having a conversation with his team. Probably a game where they're up 2 right now, but they're not feeling so great about it. They had a 6-point lead at one point and let that wither away.
Exactly. That's always tough to see, especially if Michigan were to end up losing this game. That'd be real tough, and they'd lose a lot of momentum going into WCBN, going into UCLA later. 4-letter acronym is messing up my head right there.
WCBN, UCLA, tomato, tomato.
It's the same thing.
These 2 teams still waiting in timeout. Timeouts are so valuable in water polo in large part because, frankly, you only get 2 minutes between quarters, 5 minutes for the half. These timeouts usually take a minute and a half apiece.
Yeah, you just get to hang on the wall for a minute, rest up. It's not like basketball where immediate timeout comes every so often. You get to sit on a stool for 5 minutes.
Yeah, exactly. So it's these breaks are greatly valued by the athletes, getting a chance to get a breather and maybe play their best offense. Here we go, 5:40 to play in this one. 30 seconds on the shot clock. Michigan trying to get a couple of more insurance goals here and put this game away. Maddie O'Reilly with the ball at the far right wing. A lot of action players cutting in and out of these right in front of the goal. Most valuable water in the pool as they are fighting tediously for, as Maddie O'Reilly still held on to that ball for about 10 seconds looking for a pass in there as a lot of action was going on in front of the net. Couldn't find anything and has to revert to a safe outlet pass as the ball works its way around the perimeter. Exclusionary foul called now, though. Michigan has 6-on-5 numbers advantage. Sea of hands being put up by Wagner, trying to prevent any passing lanes or shooting lanes. Ball played out wide.
Long skip pass over towards Maddie O'Reilly. O'Reilly back up top. Her pass to the assist. Skylar Pyle pins that one to the back of the net.
One of those perfect instances of teammates where Skylar Pyle got the ball as she was winding up and did not allow for enough time for Wagner to get set again and defend that shot. Great offense right there. That's exactly how you want to execute a 6-on-5 lead. You're not going to have to swim as much because you already have a numbers advantage. Just be ready and cork to throw whenever the ball gets to you, and just go. You flip the pool just a little bit there, and the hands are all facing the wrong way. You got the right lane. 10-7, Michigan leads now.
Every hand is facing at Maddie O'Reilly after she scored 3 goals already this game, adding an assist to her resume.
Yep, the hat-trick scorer is going to draw the attention of Skylar Pyle. Gets in on the scoring action. 4:47 to go now. 16 seconds on the shot clock for Wagner. They're in trouble now. They did a great job fighting back into this game despite being down 8-2 at one point. But this one is starting to slip out of their hands. 5 seconds. Deep shot, but that one's good.
Barred down from way out.
Yep, perfect height on that ball. Kind of just over the goalie's head, a little bit off to her right, but ultimately a very good shot from that distance. Heidi Rittner lets one by her. Now it's a 10-8 game, still very much contested with 4:35 to go. Michigan has continued to fail to put this one away. 2-goal lead is ultimately still a good thing in the grand scheme of things, but they certainly could have been up more, as Sydney Vernesh is fighting, moving backward with the ball before finding a pass out to the wing to teammate Emily Rittner. Nothing doing on this possession. 17 seconds as Michigan is passing, then retreating, and passing and retreating.
Yeah, Michigan just moving farther and farther back towards that midline. We're going to have a whistle. It's going to change possession. It's going to be Wagner ball here with 4 minutes left to play in this third quarter. Michigan still up 10-8.
So following the offensive foul, there are 4 minutes to go in this one. Wagner with an opportunity to cut the lead in half. Playing it in toward the center is Wagner. 8 seconds to go. 7. Tight defense so far from Michigan. Really nothing going on this possession. Wagner plays it out wide to the wing, and they got a shot all of a sudden now. That one goes off the upper left corner of the cage, and ultimately Michigan escapes there. They had really tough defense, but ultimately let a swimmer cut in toward the near side of the net.
If every Wagner shot to hit the crossbar went in, we'd be down by 13.
Absolutely, as Michigan turns the ball over. But if some bucks were cherries and nuts, we'd all have a Merry Christmas. Certainly, I think it's been an unlucky day for Wagner, but good Michigan defense has certainly helped increase that number of crossbars.
Long skip pass.
Yep, basically same idea as the last possession, just a lot earlier in the shot clock. That one, though, not as good of a shot as Malia Josephson fires it to the wide post this time, still can't get by.
Yeah, no Josephson just was streaking down that left sideline.
Yep, no crossbars on that one, although I do think the count's up to like 8 or 9 or something now. I mean,
yeah, it's something crazy.
Just need to be a little bit more calibrated as Wagner's shot, but 2-point game, they're still in this with 3 to go as Michigan is using the full shot clock now. 8 seconds, still shallow pass, causes a skirmish for the ball at 5 to go. Not going to be a high percentage shot, offensive foul, so Michigan burns 30 seconds off the clock, 2.5 to go, but cannot expand on the lead. Wagner's going to try to move quickly here, but not before calling a timeout. 2:31 to go. Michigan trailed 1-0 at one point, but it's been in the lead ever since about halfway through the first quarter when they led 2-1. It was 2-2, I suppose, at the end of the first when they very quickly took a big lead in the second quarter.
Yeah, like you said, you thought that one was just about over when Michigan got up to that 4-goal lead. But Wagner has fought their way back. With 2 minutes and 30 seconds left to play here, Wagner looking to cut Michigan's lead in half, like you said before, Daniel. Another no-look shot.
Well, it looks really great when it goes in, but it's a valid shot. I mean, sometimes that approach is the best. And Wagner trying to score quickly here. I can understand why they might have done it with so much time still left in the shot clock, but the reason why it's so impressive is most of the time it ends up going wide of the net.
Yeah, very similar to like a basketball behind the back pass in a way where if you connect, everybody thinks it looks cool. Looks like we're going to have a penalty shot.
Yep, good pass to Michigan's Aaron Newstrom is able to give her a breakaway chance, and ultimately an exclusionary foul has to be committed by Wagner to slow down what would have been a 1v-none break on goal. So Michigan going to have an exclusionary foul, and that does two things at this stage in the game. Of course, a great scoring opportunity. Michigan's only goal of the quarter was off an exclusionary foul, but resets the shot clock and gives Michigan 20 seconds of a one-swimmer advantage where they can really eat away at the remaining 118 ticks left on the clock here. So Michigan passing around the perimeter, probably in no hurry here, but as you said, if you have a goal in front of you, you take it.
Michigan in a very similar situation and to which they scored before.
Playing it around, and that's a great near post shot by Maddie O'Reilly. Just another one where you're able to get
O'Reilly with her fourth on the day, 4 goals and an assist.
Could be approaching 6 points and a double point hat trick maybe if we get there. Although I think she's going to be content with just playing defense from this point onward, as her team leads 11 to 8 rather. Although she leaves the pool, she's probably done for the day. It'll be 4 goals in total for her, as she's able to just do another quick back and forth pass, get the bodies turned the wrong way, and then fire quickly when you have a break on goal. That near post shot is way too quick for the keeper to react, and Michigan is probably going to win this one 11-8, 85 seconds to go. You're going to need a point every possession now from Wagner. And you're going to have quicker positions than this. 13 seconds to go on the clock. They are nowhere near the goal. 10, 9, moving nowhere. 7, 6, double team now. Pass goes over the head, recovered, fired with 3 seconds left, and that one is too high. Michigan has just about won this as long as they can avoid any early turnovers.
Yeah, this one's just about all wrapped up here. Up 3 with under a minute left.
If Michigan holds this ball and then plays it into the corner, there will be 29 seconds left, but instead they do the
offensive foul
thing
call.
You can't do. They were holding on to the ball, ready to just milk the clock. Instead, offensive foul. It's a 3-point game, but now Wagner does have a prayer here. Trying to pass around quickly, but so far tight defense. Michigan swimmers sticking with Wagner's. Exclusionary foul called here now. They're going to have to go quickly. 6-on-5 lead, but they won't use the whole 20 seconds, I can assure you that. 30 seconds to go in the clock. 36 in the game. Fired right to Heidi Rittner. Great save indeed, and that will just about do it. The game clock is down to 29 seconds, and therefore the shot clock is off. Wagner hasn't given up yet. Still at least one swimmer chasing the ball, trying to force a turnover. But that'll just about do it here. Michigan passing it back in their defensive half.
Michigan just playing keep away at this point.
It really is just a game of keep away, showing no interest in scoring. 10 to go from victory. 11-8 Michigan leads. Wagner not giving up just yet, but they are one pass away from ending this one. And the game will end with the ball in Sophie Pontre's hands as the clock expires and Michigan gets an 11-8 win over number 21 ranked Wagner. And Charlie is pumped up for Michigan's first home win on the season.
It's a great morning, great win. Going to look to gain some momentum for just every Michigan team over this next weekend. Like we said, Michigan water polo plays later today, but in between that, we also have Michigan men's basketball and then men's hockey tonight as well.
Absolutely. Michigan 1-0 so far in Ann Arbor today in a packed day of events. Can they go 4-0? Can Michigan water polo beat UCLA today? If they play like they did in the second quarter, they will. Other 3 quarters not as strong for the Wolverines. Ultimately, though, they get the 3-point victory. That's one they'll certainly take against a ranked opponent here in Ann Arbor. Currently number 7 in the rankings. I mean, right now they're off to a good enough start to the season. It's very early. They could still maybe get an at-large bid to the NCAA tournament, but the route for them it will always be win the CWPA and get the auto bid. As of right now, they are on track for that mission. Well, no CWPA games played yet, but win versus a ranked opponent today. They have UCLA, who's ranked number 5, and then 2 opponents who are just behind them in the polls, number 11 Pacific and number 9 UCSB later this week. Win those, and they are well on their way to a top 5 ranking. Very rare for a team not from California, so showing that there is good water polo being played in the Midwest. Maybe not by people from the Midwest, but ultimately they're coming out here to Ann Arbor to play.
They're here. We're taking it.
Absolutely, that's what matters. You know, Michael Phelps left Baltimore for like a year and a half to. I guess he wasn't a varsity athlete for Michigan, but he swam here in Ann Arbor.
Yeah, exactly.
Anyway, Michigan will never let you forget that around Olympics time. So I always have to let you know, if people who attended Michigan were a country, they'd be top 20 in all-time medal count, largely due to the contributions of Michael Phelps, but a lot of other great Olympic athletes coming from Ann Arbor.
Shout out Michael Phelps.
Yeah, Michigan.
Michael, if you're listening.
Yeah,
come call a game.
I'm sure he has swam here many times as a. He was a student here, but he was here for swimming. His high school swimming coach, got hired to coach Michigan swimming, so he made the move to Ann Arbor to hone his craft in Ann Arbor. And, well, you know, he couldn't contribute to the varsity athletics because he'd already gone pro, but we will always appreciate his, another Olympic athlete being blessed here in Ann Arbor. There will be more gold medalists playing in the Michigan-UCLA game later today. I'm predicting Michigan wins, America wins the women's water polo gold in Tokyo, but they've won it every single year. Women's water polo has been played at the Olympics, so pretty safe bet. But we might have seen some Australian medalists here too today if they can come away from Tokyo with a medal, because there were some great Australian players in the pool just now. And overall, I think it's really just one quarter that Michigan will be proud of, but overall a good result. Any takeaways for the next 3 games here for Michigan that you saw, Charlie?
That second quarter was by far the best the entire game. You know, their offense was just clean and crisp. The ball movement, you know, wasn't sloppy at all. And then later into that second half, they were real sloppy with the ball. Their defense fell off. They're just going to need to eliminate those things if they want to beat a top-tier team like UCLA.
Absolutely. It will require 4 full quarters of playing at their best, not just 8 minutes like we saw in the second quarter for Michigan if they are going to come away with a win here. I mean, if they beat UCLA, they're going to jump to and go undefeated for this whole tournament. They're going to jump up to number 3 or so in the polls. They were number 7 in the preseason poll, went 2-2 in Santa Barbara, and were able to hold on to that number 7 ranking. That'll just about do it for us, as UCLA and Pacific are playing right now, so a chance for any Michigan fans who want to hang around and scout the opponent for later today. Our airtime is just about up, though, so we're not going to go all the way through this one, but if you're in Ann Arbor, you're listening over 88.3 FM Ann Arbor, why not stop by at 6:15? Should be well attended later in the day, and you'll get to see some truly great players on this UCLA squad, as well as the great players on Michigan, who just defeated Wagner 11-8. Any closing thoughts, Charlie?
Now just doing a little bit of scouting here on UCLA. You know, trying to see what we can expect for later today. Like you said, at 6:15, Michigan faces off against UCLA again for their second game of the day. It's just going to be a great day for Michigan sports. It's a packed day, but a great day.
Yep. Last time WCBN did this Michigan Invitational, this was the only varsity event on campus, so it was like the Hail feature event where you know students get extra points. They had the alumni band here. It was an amazing crowd. They were playing Hail to the Victors live with like 40 people in a live band. Ward Manuel was here. There were a good 150 or so Michigan fans here for that game. With basketball and hockey both happening today, probably won't be the same scene for the Michigan-UCLA game, but
never know.
It's the headline fight tonight for sure. If we're going to do UFC style or whatever, it's the final match of the night. It's the headliner. Why not come in and watch that one? I mean, these games take about an hour, so you can probably be done and then walk right over to Yost for the exhibition hockey game. So, great day for Michigan athletics, and we will send it back to studio. We thank you again for listening. I've been Daniel Thompson alongside Charlie Brigham, and thanks to Charlie Goodwin in studio for getting up at 7:30 a.m. or whenever he did to sit in the studio and run a broadcast. Probably not what he was hoping to do this Saturday morning, but we thank him for helping us bring Michigan water polo to you. So, as always, thank you for listening, and we wish you a good day and a Go Blue.